Hello, it's me, Clayton. I just got back from seeing The Circle. You know that feeling you get when a film fails to live up to its promises despite the fact that it has all the potential in the world? The Circle did that for me. It has an incredible concept, yet it wastes it and creates one of the most cringeworthy thrillers I've seen in a long time. Well, let's get to the story. The story revolves around a young woman named May Holland, played by Emma Watson, who gets a job at the tech company based off Google called The Circle, which was founded by Tom Stanton, played by Patton Oswalt, and Eamon Bailey, played by Tom Hanks. The company itself creates various projects that end up raising a lot of questions about privacy and accountability, and eventually gets May swept up in decisions that could affect the entire world and how it uses social media. Now, while the story has a good concept, the execution is utterly atrocious. Unfortunately for this movie, it is taken down by poorly written dialogue and characters, with May Holland especially being unlikable to the point where it's unbelievable. The film feels like it doesn't even know how to comprehend modern technology when it comes to the stuff it can do and the stuff that it's capable of. Now, for the first third of the movie, you sort of get into the movie because of its visual style, and even though the editing and the writing are both flawed, you still feel like you're getting into it. Then the second third comes around, and you start to see cracks in the logic of the story and the writing, but you still keep going because you like Emma Watson, you like Tom Hanks, and they're clearly trying their hardest to make this material work. But then the last third of the movie happens and everything goes off the rails. The story completely falls flat, and it just makes the terribly written dialogue full of web hipster cliches, and it makes these ridiculous plot twists even more visible to the point where you're wondering what was the original author thinking when he wrote the book for this that was turned into this movie. I don't care how good the Circle book might be from Dave Eggers. That's good for it if it's good, but I'm focusing on the movie adaptation, and honestly, it's so cringeworthy to the point where I don't even want to read the book. It feels almost like the director of this movie and the person who wrote the book are very anti-technology because of how you can easily tell within the first 20 minutes of the movie that the Circle is going to be, an underlying sinister force instead of just being a tech company that makes mistakes. The reveal is made way too obvious, and if it had anything even remotely resembling subtlety, it would have been a lot better. But the film is not subtle in the slightest, and it makes every interaction that May has with any other character, aside from John Boyega's character Ty, who's honestly one of the most likable characters simply because he feels like he's trying the hardest. It makes her interactions with everyone else seem mind-numbingly cringeworthy to their terrible lines. Now, my issue with this movie, apart from the terrible writing, the terrible story, and the editing, is the fact that it feels like it takes forever to get anywhere. Every scene feels like it goes on way too long, even when the scenes are only a couple of minutes. And this pacing really makes this hour and 50-minute movie feel more like 3 hours, to the point where I was constantly checking the time to see how much of this movie was left. Now, the thing is, making a film to criticize technology and to maybe do a social critique of it is not easy. But this film is absolutely cringeworthy in every single way, and it makes every actor look bad. I can't think of one other movie that starred Emma Watson, Tom Hanks, Patton Oswalt, John Boyega, or Karen Gillan that was worse. And that's not even counting the terrible editing, the god-awful dialogue, the story that falls flat, and the plot twists that not only feel ridiculous, but feel like they're heavy-handed to the point where it just needs to jam in a message down the audience's throat that's not only harmful at worst and just questionable at best, but it just feels like the film was dead on arrival and we didn't even know it until the film was halfway done. This is, without a doubt, one of the worst movies I've seen all year, and if it wasn't for the space between us, I'd say it is the worst. It's truly cringeworthy, where its only saving graces are its initial concept and some of the actors. Because Emma Watson, John Boyega, Patton Oswalt, and Tom Hanks are clearly trying their hardest to make this material work, but even their acting can't save that awful script. And it's even more depressing considering this is the last film appearance of the late Bill Paxton, and this is what he has to leave on? It's just downright depressing. So, when it comes down to it, this movie is absolutely terrible. Don't rent it, don't go to the theater to see it, don't give it a try, don't even look at the trailers anymore. I'm giving The Circle a 3 out of 10. It is terrible. See you next week. Hopefully with a better movie, though given Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out soon, that's more than likely. See ya.